Well, it's that time again for the Israel update, and hang on to whatever you have to hang on to, because hold on, just threw me a little bit of a ball out of, it wasn't even in the ballpark. So let's
Oh.
dive right into this. How's things going in Moda'in?
Well, you may notice that I'm back talking with my hands again. How is that at all humanly possible? Well, the head of the Mike Clayton fan club, Jerusalem branch,
Ah,
my favorite eldest, Ayala, came back from America visiting her favorite sister, my favorite youngest, with this brand new MacBook Pro and a brand new iPhone. Now, that's the good news. The bad news is I'll be paying for this for the next 6 or 7 years, but I actually have Zoom here. But before we go into today's topic, we do have a birthday greeting. Da, 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 da. You say it's your birthday. And yeah, we're back to our favorite group of sisters. Da, 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 da. We have a birthday coming up. Drum roll, please. Brrr. It is Mary.
ah.
No, no, not Miriam. No, 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 no. Don't misunderstand. Mary Connor Stiles.
Yeah.
Now, she needs to understand, even though she changed her last name to protect the innocent, she's still one of the Connor sisters. She cannot hide. Poor James and Judd, wonderful guys. You know them well. Among our youngest listeners and fans, they are in effect part of the Connor sisters too, whether they like it or not. It's just the
Okay.
way it is.
It
So
is.
happy birthday, Mary. Enjoy it. Have a wonderful year.
Yeah. And there is another birthday that you missed out on. Hold on.
Oh, wait a second. I saw it today. Your youngest,
Yes.
most adorable grandchild. And if I'm not mistaken, is this the first little girl?
This is the first little girl. Yes. Yes. Out of the six, this is
She's
the little girl I have. So, yes, I
she's
had to.
adorable.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, what do you expect?
Probably not the time to mention that I see more of Kathy in her, but I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
So I don't know if we can mention her name on air.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so that's Irene,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it is.
Isn't that like wasn't there a song like something Irene?
Yeah. Goodbye,
Well,
Irene.
there were a couple of them.
Probably.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then there
And
was
you
like,
would know them all.
come on, Irene.
You would know
Yeah.
them all. Yes.
We should we should have just a show where people like will send in like a word and you or I will you or I will start going off on a song or something. But that's not for today. Today we've got big things to talk about.
That show will not be. Just no. That show will not be. Okay. So, in fact, you got me so scared that I'm canceling next week's show, and I'm going to be traveling. So I'm going to give you over to Barry next week. You guys will be,
Yeah,
Foundations for Life with the Israel update because of my travel schedule.
I'm kind of feeling a bit like the red-haired stepchild, but but that's okay. You know, a man's got to do what a man's got to do,
This is right.
and you've got to travel. I totally understand that. But
Okay, so with that, let's talk about
yes,
the ball you threw me right before we I hit the record
yes,
button, and that is something happening in Israel regarding some ice cream. I think it is.
yeah. The folks from Ben and Jerry's um, have decided that they want to boycott Ben and Jerry's products They don't want us to sell Bennett. Okay, Bennett, it's about Ben and Jerry's ice cream, a boycott, the BDS, Judea and Samaria. But what I want to bring in today is how people's reactions to that are all tied in inextricably with their personal beliefs in Yeshua.
Okay, and that's the one I'm waiting for.
Okay, so first let's discuss the background. The background is Ben and Jerry's ice cream has been sold here in Israel for 35 years. It is not cheap, but it is Ben and Jerry's ice cream. And, if you like Ben and Jerry's ice cream, then, you've been in heaven for the last 35 years. The factory is in a place called Be'er Tuvia, which is between Ashkelon and Ashdod in the south.
Okay.
It employs Israelis, not surprisingly, Jewish Israelis and Arab Israelis, but Israeli citizens between Ashkelon and Ashdod, the south. For years, Ben and Jerry's have been getting their undies in a knot because the Israeli licensee for Ben and Jerry's here in Israel continued to sell throughout Israel, which includes Yehuda and Shomron, Judea, and Samaria. One of the first places in Israel that carried Ben and Jerry's ice cream was a pizza shop in Efrat. So, what's the problem? Ben and Jerry's corporate decided that they don't want their products sold in what they're referring to as OPT, the occupied Palestinian territories. For those of you who haven't seen the maps that I've posted, I have found where the independent kingdom of ancient Palestine was located. It's between Middle Earth and Narnia. Never existed, but it's not adorable.
Okay,
I am
you're getting into facts, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's not confuse the issue with facts. Let's stay on point, Chanoch. Okay. The Israel, again, Ben and Jerry's Israel, good guys, good people. Ben and Jerry's corporate, ooh, I almost made a gesture with my fingers, bad people. Bad people, okay? We have the good and the bad people. Okay, so they are ending the licensing agreement with Ben and Jerry's here in Israel. It expires in 18 months. But they already sent out this press release now. Okay, the story gets a bit more complicated. So people right away are jumping to the idea of let's boycott Ben and Jerry's. Now, you're talking about what I've spoken about in the last 2 weeks, how, quote unquote, back in the day, we used to react to things like this. Ben and Jerry's worldwide, especially in America, yes, don't use their products. Ben and Jerry's here in Israel are still good people, and for the next 18 months should not be boycotted. Hopefully they'll take their technology that they've used to manufacture this ice cream and make something great. We already have great flavors of ice cream. Okay.
It could be something like Binyamin and Yehuda.
I got to tell you, you and I should really have a career in marketing. You come up with the ideas, and I'll just be the spokesperson that alienates everyone.
Okay, yeah, because we could have Binyamin and Yehuda, and we could have the two sticks.
That's right. We can have southern flavors. We can have like sweet tea. Really, this is okay. So this is where the story gets a little complicated. Ben and Jerry's, since the year 2000, has been owned by Unilever.
Yeah.
Unilever is a global food conglomerate based out of Europe. Their products, if you can go online, Unilever, Unilever, I believe, you'll see they use a U. Now, they own a lot of brands
Oh, yeah.
that everyone uses. Hellman's mayonnaise, Lipton tea, Dove creams and soaps, Magnum ice cream, Breyer's ice cream, I believe even Klondike. Okay. Within the Jewish community, which is the Orthodox Jewish community in America, and I've seen in Australia, the kosher supermarkets are already announcing that they are no longer carrying Ben and Jerry's products. They stand with Israel. Okay. The Israeli government has issued statements, very strong statements, against this boycott. Again, this is all tied in with the BDS, boycott, divestment, and sanctions. And by the way, I'm thinking of doing some separate recordings of like, educational things. So when people say like, what is he talking about? They could go back and reference it. And now that I have, modern technology once again, as opposed to, technology from the 1990s, anything is possible. Okay. This is where it gets a bit more complicated. Now, back in the day, what would have happened? People who lived in New York City, for instance, would have gone down to the Ben and Jerry's store in Times Square and would have smashed apart their windows, spread animal blood on their thing, whatever. Okay, that's not going to happen. Why it is that people aren't calling upon people to stay away from Unilever products may tie in with an interesting fact. When Ben and Jerry's was purchased by them in the year 2000, they had a clause stating that an independent Ben and Jerry's board could make all kinds of social decisions for the company based upon their beliefs. I am still personally boycotting any Unilever product. Knorrs, Knors, the soup mixes that we have here in Israel are from that. But anyway, let's get to the point. The point is, this is a tremendous opportunity for the allies of Israel worldwide to stand with us. Again, this is just like the 1930s. Yud is painted on the windows. Windows are smashed. Jewish businesses are boycotted. Our mainstream Christian allies, the Christian Zionists like in Kufi, Christians United for Israel, Pastor Hagee, will certainly stand with us on this. My point is, it provides a tremendous opportunity for the Hebrew roots Christian community to stand up alongside Israel. But it ties in specifically, this hit me while I was working out today. I literally almost dropped 2 dumbbells. The poor staff person there, this 22-year-old young woman who's trying to practice her English, like there are people there. There are a couple of people, American immigrants, who can speak no Hebrew.
Okay.
I mean, they make me out to be a scholar. So she comes to me for how to say things, like instead of like on a leg extension machine, more up. Say, bring your legs a little higher. It's like, wow, Hanoch, yeah, like, yeah, I'm the man, speaking English. Growing up in the Bronx, I never thought I could. How amazing. Okay. The problem within Hebrew roots congregations is in order to stand alongside Israel, they need to come to grips with the actual Jewishness of Yeshua. Now, again, I'm not talking about beliefs in Yeshua beyond his having been a man on earth, Torah teacher. Let's look at the very fact of his birth. Yeshua, correct me if I'm wrong at any time, Mike. Yeshua was born in Bethlehem.
Yeah.
Okay?
We agree on that.
Generally accepted belief. Generally accepted belief. That's in the occupied Palestinian territories.
Which makes his family the first Palestinians in the eyes of some people.
Yes. Or, shame on them, settlers.
Yes.
Part of the occupation. Okay. So, part of the issue, and again, I'm not getting into the issue of belief, and I'm certainly not criticizing people's beliefs. But the way, when I study the gospel accounts, the way I understand what Yeshua was teaching is actually really, it's very easy for me. I'm looking at the teachings, the Torah teachings of a Jew in Israel to other Jews 2,000 years ago at the time of the Second Temple period. You would think that that would be acknowledged by all. The problem is, if you keep putting Yeshua back in his context here in Israel, how can you possibly not do anything for Israel?
Yeah.
Now,
yeah,
of course,
I got that.
in saying that to you, I'm preaching to the choir.
Well,
but I had a
okay. Let me give you something. As someone that grew up in the Bronx and has never been in a church that had, well, has been in very few churches that had a choir.
No, I've only been to Roman Catholic churches.
Okay. So this thing of I'm preaching to the choir. If you've ever been in a church that has a choir, you'll find out that the choir is the ones that never listen to you at all. Okay, so the idiom that's being used is like, the choir knows everything because they're on the platform, but the choir is actually kind of the ones that are doodling the most and are not listening to what you're saying. Okay, so there's just another little thing about the idiom. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I realize what I'm saying is not at all enlightening to you.
Yeah, this would be like
And
you in a
to
Jewish
many of our
synagogue saying,
listeners,
here, I'll give you this one. This is like you in a Jewish synagogue saying, I'm preaching to the cantor. And the cantor is out in the hallway talking to, schmoozing with someone else. Okay, got it. Go ahead.
Right. But instead, this is not the usual, Nancy negativity part of me. Rather, this is a tremendous opportunity throughout Hebrew roots groups to say, you know what? Ben and Jerry's just handed us a golden opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Not only the next time they plan a congregational tour to Israel, and they might actually include a place or two or three, God forbid, in Judea and Samaria, where Yeshua lived and taught, the biblical backbone of Israel, where 90% of the Tanakh occurred. Not only that, but it's a chance to show true solidarity and the reconciliation of Judah and Joseph. It's a tremendous opportunity. Now, for all of those listening, don't go and throw out the Ben and Jerry's ice cream in your freezer. Okay? But I would like to know, and I would like to request that you no longer buy it. But here's the homework assignment, kids. You need to write a note, A, to Ben and Jerry's management, which is a waste of time. Better yet, skip that and write directly to Unilever and explain why you're not buying their products anymore because of Ben and Jerry's discrimination against Jews and Israel. Now understand, this is the first time, this is a landmark case. This is the first time the BDS movement has targeted a company inside pre-67 Israel.
Mhm.
Now, 33 out of the 50 US states have anti-BDS legislation. How this is going to be handled in the American courts on a state-by-state basis with the Ben and Jerry's, there's a license, a different license in Pennsylvania and a different license in Georgia. So that's going to be interesting. But here's an opportunity for all lovers of Israel, let alone lovers of Yeshua. Hello. Anyway.
Okay. So I just, for those that would like, I just shared something from a mutual friend, Mary, on Mary Cayley from the Scottish Isles, who posted something on Facebook. And so they can go onto my site, just search for me on Facebook. Things like Dove, Axe, let's see, Alberta VO5. I mean, you're going to have to quit using that, Hanok. Sunkissed, Sun, Breeze, Pepsodent. Let's see, Q-tips. Ooh, Vaseline, Comfort. Let's see, Lipton Tea. Hellman's, as you said, Skippy Peanut Butter, Slim Fast, which nobody should be drinking anyway. Breyers, Popsicle, Ben and Jerry's, Magnum. That's going to be a problem in Judea Samaria because they carry Magnum. Klondike, Fudgesicle, Good Humor. Those are all things. So, what it comes down to, Hanok, is when we go into Judea Samaria, the only thing that's going to be available is watermelon ice cream. Which, see,
Okay.
I personally
Okay, that's your dream. That's
okay.
Your dream. I get that.
See, this is the thing that, I pray that, arise, Hashem, and may your enemies be scattered. And so this is just further proof of him working in the lives of people, of things in Israel, to take out the enemies of watermelon ice cream.
The next time you say to me, Hanoch, you need to stop personalizing world events. Okay, just remember this little vignette.
Okay,
now.
Okay, I got it. Now, let me say something, Hanoch, on this, because I already talked about this in my program that'll come out tomorrow. Is that I have this personal issue with buying overpriced ice cream to begin with. Okay.
Good point.
I don't like Starbucks. Okay. I don't like the taste of it, besides the fact that it's just overpriced, Ben and Jerry's to me is just overpriced ice cream. And so this is, it's not going to affect me. This is not, I'm looking at this, probably the only thing that I'm going to have to switch to is generic Q-tips, is what it looks like on the screen here. But, I'm not going to spend every waking moment looking through every company to see who is supporting what. Because, when you do that, you're going to come down to, this company is supporting slave labor in China, and this company has ties to Venezuela, and this company has ties to some, pagan practice that's happening in Timbuktu, wherever that is. I need to look one day. I'm not going to spend my whole day on the internet tracking down every single company. But with that being said, when something is blatant like this, Ben and Jerry's, Unilever, Hobby Lobby, and their support of Antichrist at the checkpoint, when I see things that are blatant like this, that's going to cause me to say, I'm done. I'm no longer going to, I'm not going to go looking for it all day long. I don't have that kind of time. I think that's a waste. But when something is blatant, then yes, I'm going to be all in on this one. So it's just, for me, it's basically an excuse to not buy overpriced ice cream.
Okay.
Until they come out
momentarily.
Until they come out with Benjamin and Yehuda and the two sticks, which would be like cinnamon, and we got to have something else in stick form. Cinnamon vanilla.
Could you imagine?
Wait a minute, vanilla is a bean.
A popsicle with two sticks. A popsicle with two sticks.
But hello, a popsicle with two sticks. Talk about marketing. A popsicle with two sticks, but as you lick the popsicle down, you find out that the two sticks are actually one.
That's right. It's one in your hand. Okay. Let's take a look at today's shirt. Lo nishkach v'lo nislach. Gush Katif. This is don't forget and don't forgive. This was the week. It actually was originally scheduled for the 9th of Av, which would have been amazing. Yet I stated the other day that it was the worst decision ever made by the Israeli government. And then I actually had a moment or two or three where I sat back and I was trying to wonder if the Oslo Accords were the worst. So it was like, both are absolutely disastrous, because it was the Oslo Accords which created this concept of a legitimate rights of the Palestinian people. And the way the United Nations Refugee Group views this, to be a Palestinian refugee, quote unquote, doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you were in Israel and then left in 1948 of your own accord, the 750,000, but any generation since then. So you have doctors in Qatar and professors in France, they're refugees. Can you believe it? Unbelievable.
Just to mention of Gush Katif, I was there just prior to the pullout, the taking of Jewish families out of their home, dragging them out of their homes. There's a few events in my life that were transforming to me. One of those was standing up on the promenade. You and I have been there numerous times, standing up on the promenade above the Kotel Western Wall, overlooking that plaza, and seeing the Jews that are packed, I mean literally packed like sardines into this. There was tens of thousands of Jews that came into there. And there was a rabbi that got up they had a sound system set up. And I have this on my computer on video. There was a rabbi that got up and started to pray because of my lack of Hebrew. I could catch one word here and there of what he was saying, but I didn't need to know what he was saying, because I knew what he was saying. There was a cry inside of him that was, to this day, is overwhelming. If I can find that and tag it on to the end of this this program, I will. I can't guarantee that, but if I can, I'll do that today, because I think it is so
That'd be great. That'd be great.
appropriate for people to understand the longing of Israel to be united as one. That's what that prayer meeting was about. And I remember talking to Dov Kempinski, and he said, there's just no way this can happen. And we all stood and watched as this happened. May it never happen again.
For that,
if me not buying overpriced ice cream can help in that, that's fine.
well, each and everything is a step. And it's either a step in the right direction or a step in the wrong direction. When people say, well, it doesn't matter, so, whatever. But so today it's Ben and Jerry's, and tomorrow it'll be what, and I don't mean a food product. I mean something important for Israel's security and safety.
Yeah.
The world will always look to push and get away with as much as they can. I mean, I knew people years ago that were involved against the BDS, but like everything else, they just, they grow tired of it. They go on to something else or not onto something else. So.
All right. Well, hey, appreciate your coming on every week and enlightening us. For those that you didn't know that you got more than you ever wanted to know about Ben and Jerry's, but we're afraid to ask. And where do you hear it? Live from Modi'in, Israel. Where else could we get information like that? Okay. Well, Halok, looks like you're frozen up. So there you are.
Hope not.
Yeah. Okay. Looks like maybe you ate too much ice cream and had a brain freeze there, and it froze your whole face all of a sudden.
Not me. Not anymore.
Right.
Take care, Mike. Regards to everybody. Bye-bye.